First off, happy Lunar New Year. We've been having so much momentum the past couple of years to finally get here. This has been heavy, heavy, heavy energy. This has been a heavy numerology cycle of the past 9 years. We had the year of the snake last year, and then that was the numerology nine. We have the numerology one this year, so it's a beginning. So it was interesting to be in the snake at the ending, and then be with the snake at the beginning. So very, very different energy last year compared to this like first month and a half really of this year. So you're gonna feel a lot going like shifting from the end of that year to this year and everything as we transition to the fire horse. So it's kind of like you were not on you're a train and you weren't on the track, and all of a sudden you're on the track and you're moving and you're like, wait, I don't even think I chose what I want yet. What's going on? So you have to give yourself a lot of time to adjust right now, but at least the 15 days. You want to really look at the eclipse season, which is a couple of weeks. Technically, it's like a month to a month and a half after we release the shadow phase. Shadow is always a huge thing whenever you have retrogrades, whenever you have eclipse season. You really have to give yourself that time after something goes direct or after something's not in an eclipse anymore, because it's going to feel like you're hungover energetically. And people are going to expect, oh, Mercury's direct now, Neptune is direct now, we're out of eclipse season. No, you're going to feel hungover energetically, especially if you're trying to move with clarity right away. And then you're going to have to go and redo things because you acted to initiate things when you weren't supposed to. So, this is the time when the universe initiates. You're done initiating for a little bit. You had all of this chance to get your ducks in a row as much as you wanted to. Now, this is time for the universe to course correct. And just if you step out of the way, things will happen so quickly and magically. If you are in the way, you're going to cause more of a mess and it's going to take longer and you're going to be in that energy longer. So, just step out of the way and trust. So we have the collective arc of dragon, snake, and fire horse. With that, the year of the dragon, that was 2024 to 2025, January and a little bit of February. That was a Yang Wood dragon. The theme was upheaval and expansion. So people love the dragon because dragon is abundance, it's prosperity, it's really shiny. Yeah, it's very shiny, but it's also very distracting. It will fuck you up if you are not in alignment and in integrity. So this is like energy if someone were to be like a gambler per se. Ooh, they'll be making that money, but then they will be in massive debts and massive illusion. That's just like a really bad example, but I'm just saying, like, to that extreme, it can be such a lucky year, but it can also be a very destructive year if you're in the wrong energy. If you're in dark energy, if you're in trying to get things quick, it's not going to feel good. So, dragon energy was big, it's loud, it's disruptive. Expansion is going to happen really fast. Structures were shaken up, identities were shifted. We've had leadership changes, illusions were exposed, and many people experienced massive losses and endings. Dragon asked us, what do you want? What do you wish? What do you want? But in asking that, it removes what no longer aligns. So your wish is my command, but I'm going to remove everything that does not align with that. And usually when the universe asks you this question, it's not asking you logically, it's asking your heart. So you might have these situations where you're like, ooh, logically, I want this, I want this. People can be in I was in a deep relationship. I was like, so the universe asked me, what do I want? And I'm like, I want the family. I want someone trustworthy. I want this. That illusion was revealed, and everything that was not the truth was stripped away, and it feels devastating because you're like, wait, but the illusion is I want this and I wanted this person. So it can be stripped away, but it's for the better because the universe is trying to align you with your heart and your intuition. So the removal is going to create a lot of grief. The dragon triggers the upheaval, but it does not help you process it. Okay, so it makes all of that change, but you don't get to process it yet. So you feel really raw, you feel really cracked open. You could feel alone, you could feel abandoned, or you could feel very supported, but maybe not like anyone really knows what you are or who you are. It can be very just raw. Feel very, very, very raw. Then we go into the year of the snake, which was the yin wood snake. This is the theme of grief, shadow, and shedding, which that's obvious with the snake, they shed, but now we get to process the grief that was exposed. The snake energy was quieter, but it was deeper. So it wasn't so shiny, it wasn't so sparkly, it wasn't so loud, but it was deep. It was that like maybe that friend that isn't around all the time, but whenever you sit down with that friend, she leans in and she gives you that hug and you just start sobbing, crying because you know she's truly listening and she's holding you. So it's that kind of energy, that real depth of like leaning into your soul finally and really feeling seen by yourself. So energy snake was quieter but deeper. We slowed down. We felt grief. We saw our shadow. Attachments became very clear and fear patterns were surfacing. Codependency was exposed and financial and emotional recalibration started to happen. So, Snake asks a very different question. What are you still holding on to that is already dead? Okay. So we're shedding. This was the year of shedding, but it's like, what are you holding dead space? Where in your life is dead space where you're just pouring into an illusion that is no longer serving you, that is not going to revive? It's dead in front of you, and you're just like, it's fine. I'm still watering the dead rose. I'm still watering it. I've had it for 2 years. It's dead. It's dead, but I'm still watering it. Now there's mold growing, so you got to be very aware of that. So this was the year of the shedding identities, shedding roles, shedding unhealthy attachments, shedding obligations. But snake refines what dragon disrupted.
Mm.
Okay, so dragon disrupted, but then the snake goes in and polishes up and refines and creates that space and makes it very obvious where you do have space in your life. And it creates, in a weird way, it creates a sense of hope, but it's not going to create sense of hope in the way that you think. It's not like that dragon energy where it's like, yeah, it's not that hype person where it's the illusion of it, but it creates that revival, that heartbeat again, where you just feel so deeply connected with your inner child, with your heart. And you might not be running for it, but there's that whisper of hope. And that feels really reviving once you've experienced the dragon, because the dragon was the false illusion of the shiny. So it's like, oh, you want shiny? You want this? You've got it. And then you're like, wait, this feels empty. Like, wait, I wanted depth. That's not what I wanted, you know? So it starts to shift. It made us emotionally honest. So the snake made us, aligned us to be back to that emotional honesty. And then we have the year of the fire horse, which is the yang fire horse. The theme here is liberation and movement, which is beautiful. It's exciting. It's landing on a 1 year. So it's like we're starting another cycle, a 9 year cycle on a fire horse. You guys, we're going to crush it these next 9 years. Like the collective is going to crush it. The collective is moving together. The collective, and what's really beautiful is like you have fire horse energy, which is like, alignment. But then what's interesting is we have an eclipse season starting the very first day
Yeah.
of a 1 year in a fire horse. Aquarius is the liberator. Aquarius is the philanthropist. Aquarius is, yeah, pretty much just that liberator. And when you think about what's happening with politics in the world right now, it's devastating. So
Mhm.
you want to course correct with Aquarius leading the way. Aquarius and Leo axis. Aquarius is like that deep, steady intellectual confidence in the collective, in humanity again, us coming together. So you have that in an eclipse season. And then you have Leo, which is that confidence within yourself, which is so beautiful. Us to have that energy activated on the very first day of the first year of a fire horse. on the first day of a new 9 year cycle, it's like people are waking up, people have woken up, and people are shifting into that liberation and that power today. And I know that might sound crazy, like it's not going to happen today. No, we've been feeling the energy coming in that pole. We've been feeling the grief. We've been feeling the fear. We've been feeling the change. We've been feeling all of it. Give it these next 15 days to observe, to kind of get an idea of what's going to happen this next year, how that's going to pan out, really reconnecting with our vision, connecting with that external vision of like what we want for the collective, because we always have to hold that vision, and holding that vision of what we want personally in our life, in our community, in our family, those immediate connections. So now we move into action. Horse energy is independent, and it doesn't mean lonely. It just means that there's no room for codependency. There's no room for having to rely on other people for your emotional needs, your mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual needs. It's like, I don't need you for validation. I want you here to exist with me, to co create with me, but I don't need you here. That's the difference. So it's not saying like, oh, I have to be completely alone. I can't have partnership. No, it's just saying that you're independent. You're in your energy. You're thriving. You have all the resources that you need. You're in this magician energy. Your wish is my command. So horse energy is independent. It's direct. It's fast moving. It's confident. It's untethered. You don't have these attachments anymore. You get to run free. You're that wild stallion. So after grief and shedding comes freedom. This year shows us who we are without heavy attachments, who we are without outdated obligations, who we are without grief defining us. And we are now shifting from attachment to autonomy, from grief bound identity to self led identity. So, again, from grief bound identity to self led identity. And so, what we can really expect this year going forward is a strong desire for independence, being in our own energy, respecting and honoring our vitality and our boundaries. We're less tolerant for restriction. You're not going to tell me what to do. I have my own autonomy. I am my own person. I have those boundaries. Again, clear boundaries, decisive endings, and faster momentum. So even with the endings that do happen, it's not like this deep attachment and wound. It's like, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. That's been trying to get out of my life for a couple years now. I'm done with that pattern. Interesting. I'm done with that pattern. Like, I don't miss it. I don't grieve it. I'm not sad about it. That makes total sense. I have more space now. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with that pattern. I'm done with that story. So, leadership opportunities can come up, and more energy in our physical body can come up. We've been having some weird energy in our physical body these past few years. I don't feel a lot of people have been like really aligned with their body. Even someone who's like physically aligned with their body, like they're like, oh, I like the way I look, I feel embodied, this and that. It's like they've had physical issues with like digestion or things going on with their body. And honestly, it's just recalibration in our collective right now. So I feel like Fire Horse, this like horse that is a stallion and just like muscular and amazing and fully embodied, like that is what we're shifting into. We're really shifting in with Saturn, and I believe it's Saturn in Aries. This gets really physical for us this next 2.5 years in this like this portal. So understand that a lot of things are going to change physically for us in our bodies. We may feel with certain things that we can't carry it anymore. So if there's certain things that still need to be shed, because there's always cycles of that, you're going to feel like, I can't carry this anymore. This is too much emotionally. This is too much on my body. This is too much on me. I don't feel right carrying this anymore. I feel worthy of more. I'm not doing these things out of obligation anymore. It takes too much out of me just to carry this for a family member, or just keep people pleasing people because they won't do the healing. I can't carry this anymore. And this is a massive evolution for all of us in the collective. And it's going to affect you differently based off of what your Chinese astrology is. You can look that up, and it's going to like really help you kind of understand that a lot more, your regular astrology as well. But in general, it's a big evolution for our collective finally. Like this, yeah, this
We need
past
it.
this past cycle was crazy. We had COVID, we had like all this crazy stuff with politics. Like we just have so much going on right now, but that was like 9 years of exposure, exposing what was not working. And the example I give a lot of the time is when we had Obama in office, people thought racism didn't exist. And then
Mm.
because we had a black president. And then all of a sudden you go into Trump and then people are like, wait, what? There's some people
Yeah,
who are
like
like, he's not
40%.
racist. And the people are like, there's racism? What? And then people are just kind of deflecting. The illusion is broken. The bubble is broken. Then you have Epstein files and they're coming out with like sex trafficking, child molestation, and all of these different things that people just thought didn't exist, and it's like in our generation, I think we have a lot more conversations around like rape and child molestation, all that thing where we're practicing to like as a community where we have more practices and policies in place to protect our children. But then when you realize it, Epstein files coming out, it's like some of the most powerful people in the world are, putting these kids in danger. And those things I feel like are being exposed and it's devastating. But at the same time, we cannot change something unless it's exposed. So just always keep that in mind when we have these really crazy things being exposed, that we really need to make sure that we are standing in integrity, the people around us are standing in integrity, but then we also know that things are forward moving when they're exposed. Once there's awareness, it can change. But when those things are not in awareness, that's when it's really challenging. When people are hush hush about these things, then it's really challenging to move the needle. So I feel like the needle will move. The needle will move eventually. And I definitely think that there's a lot of momentum right now in the next 9 years to have these things exposed and to kind of like have the system fixed. I think Trump has been like horrible, just absolutely horrible. But one thing I noticed is that he's exposing the system, which is crazy. He's exposing where the holes are in the system. It sucks to see America be exposed like that
It's the
because
hole
you're
in
like,
the system.
yeah, you're just like, oh my
Sorry.
God. But like, our system
It's
is
true.
very
Yeah.
slow and it's slow for a
Yeah.
reason. They make it that way because there's processes and all of that kind of stuff. But it's like, okay, this guy is gonna be done in a couple years and that's it. I don't think that it's gonna continue in the same way in this like it can't. Like in my mind, in my reality, nope, I don't allow it. Like, nope, Queen
No,
Emma,
I like
nope,
it.
in my
I'm
reality,
with
it's
you.
not happening. We don't let people get away with fucking sex trafficking, molestation, racism, like all of that kind of stuff. And in my world, that shit is shifting. And so let's all have that in our
We need
mind
to
that
all see that. Yeah.
we all have
Um,
to see that
yeah.
and we have to hold ourselves accountable. But like when you have people sitting next to you saying stupid shit, like we have to hold that collective image of what we want for our future, what we want for our future kids, what we want for all of that. So I think that's the most important part, is always hold that vision. Earlier I had a call with a friend and she had told me that this relationship is working out and she's moving to Ireland. And it's so cool because like in my heart, I knew she was going through a lot last year, but in my heart, every time I think of about her, I think about her with that man in Ireland, that she moved to Ireland. So this
Oh,
whole time I'm like feeling like she's in Ireland with this man. But when we got on the call, she said something and I was like, oh, they're not together, man. Damn, like this whole time I've been like in my heart holding that image, but I guess it just wasn't supposed to work. And then like later on she tells me and she goes, "Oh, by the way, I'm moving to Ireland in 3 weeks to be with Harry." And I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, like it's working out and it's been amazing and he's amazing and I love his
my
family."
God.
And I'm like, "Girl, I've been holding that in my heart for you." And she's like, "Really? You've been always telling me that it's going to work out with this guy and that he's just really into me and I just never saw it." And it's so interesting that you're like that one person who always like holds that vision for me and like it's
Always
actually
got her.
working.
Yeah.
So I'm saying like there's so much power in when we hold that space for our friends, for ourselves, for the collective, for all of that. We have so much power. So always keep that in mind. Never get to the point where you lose hope, because that's where you lose your power, and that's what the system wants, is they want you to lose the power because then you're easily manipulated. So let's see. The highest alignment when we're in the year of the fire horse is strengthening our bodies and our nervous system. So that's like,
Right.
how do you know you feel in alignment? Is you're like, yeah, I'm the stallion. I'm I'm strong in my body and my nervous system. And it's not like one big thing that I've been shifting in my mindset as I've been talking to my friends is like we do not dress for the gaze of someone else. We
Yeah.
dress for
Mhm.
ourselves. We dress to feel sexy. We dress to feel empowered for ourselves. We don't do that for others. And maybe people might be attracted to us, but we don't do that for others. We do that for ourselves. And so strengthening your body and your nervous system, that's for you. And then obviously, like as you have that inner love, then it radiates and then you magnetize and all of that. So act from clarity, not resentment. So don't be having those conversations when you're in resentment, trying to resolve something. Like get back to your center, figure out what your vision is, figure out what you want to be in, what energy you desire to be in, and then radiate that. Release attachments without abandoning integrity. So, just making sure that you're staying in integrity with all that you do and don't release something because you don't think it's working. Release something because it's not working, and also because it allows you to align and make space for what you do want to work out. So choose independence without isolating. And that's a big one. It's like sometimes I'll isolate because I'm feeling insecure. And it's like, no, don't do that. But there's also like, you don't want to isolate. You can hermit in a healthy way. You can be alone in a healthy way. You can have me time and you can have nourishing time to yourself. But know the difference when you're there or you're isolating because you're feeling insecure. Um, Simplify your life and move with confidence, but you want to make sure that you're staying grounded. And when I say that, it's usually like be confident but be humble. Be confident but be grounded. It's like, okay, we finally got the body. Like you can't be mean girl now. It's like, well, I'm sexy, so blah. You're just like, no, I'm moving that same way because it's about the integrity that we're Stephanie's like cracking up over there. So we have Aquarius solar eclipse influence. And this is Aquarius energy focuses on authenticity, community, collective evolution, breaking outdated systems and innovation. So this eclipse may bring sudden clarity about friendships, shifts in our community and our collective, realizations of where you stayed out of loyalty instead of alignment, and a push towards more authentic networks. So this is the time when we really
So
come
fun.
together. You're finding your people, and this is going to unravel in the next 2.5 years. Okay, so 2.5 years of this like Aquarius and Leo axis, you'll notice that things are just continuing to unravel. So, and Aquarius is one of the strongest when it comes to collective philanthropy, when it comes to all of that, just unity, energy. It's Aquarius. Like you want Aquarius on your side when it comes to that. And then you have the Leo axis. So whenever you're dealing with this energy, the very opposite sign is Leo, but they work together. They balance each other out. So as much as you have this because you have Leo, which is internal confidence. And that lion, you don't mess with that. So let's see. Aquarius asks, who are you outside of expectation? So this is a big one for you, Samira. Who are
I know.
you
I was
outside
like,
of expectation? Yeah, like I just read your guys' mind and then I take notes. I'm kidding.
I'm like,
So, like,
yeah,
this
like
is,
everything.
she's like, yes. So, yeah, that's a big one. It's like, if you did not have to earn your keep, if you did not have to earn your seat at the table, who would you be? Would you even be invited to the table? Because when we are in our divine essence, we are being invited to the table just for our presence.
Hmm.
We're not there to bring something to the potluck. We're not there to anything. We're just there because we're that important guest. We're sitting at the head of the table kind of energy. So really try to reflect on this is who are you outside of those expectations?
I love
Beautiful
that because that makes me want to like flip the table and be like, peace, I'm out of here.
Maria. I love that. Her
I'm
Italian
on
side
my
comes
own
out.
table.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you
She's
have
like, I'm
to
not gonna flip
invite
the
me.
table because this is my table.
Yes. You come to me.
Yes, you come to me and you're allowed to stay. Okay, you can stay. So the big picture with all of this is dragon energy broke the structures. Snake energy processed the grief and the shadow. Horse invites movement and liberation. Dragon asks us, what do you want? Snake asked, what is true? Horse asks, are you ready to move? So it's like, what do you want? Okay, well, you say you want this,
Yeah.
but this comes with this, and this comes with this, and this comes with this, and this comes with that. Zoom out a little bit. Is that what you really want? Is that true? Are you willing to take all of it? And then once you shed and you realize, like, okay, well, maybe I don't want this and this and this and this, but like, can we have the foundation? Can we have the integrity with it? Can we have this? Can we have the accountability? Okay, I want those core values. Okay, now you have that. And they're like, okay, it's right there. Are you really ready to move? Are you ready? Because it's time. We're going to start moving towards that, but you better hold that frequency and you better feel worthy when it comes to you. Because we're not fucking around. We're giving you exactly the order that you asked for, but you better be ready to move. And when it comes to it, it's do you feel worthy, but are you willing to care for it? Because whatever
Mm-hmm.
you want is going to take a lot of time and attention and care. We've all been there where we try to date someone and they wanted it, but they didn't know how to care for it.
Apparently accurate. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so don't tell me you want a Lamborghini and then you can't pay for the tires to get fixed. Don't tell me that.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how it works. You can have the Lamborghini, but you better be able to maintain. And that's kind of where we're at. We're asking for that Lamborghini lifestyle, not necessarily monetarily, but it's like spiritually, energetically, we want the best of the best. So are we willing to wake up when we need to? Are we willing to get out of bed and be motivated and really feel ready for the day and feel blessed for everything that we've worked so hard for? Are we just like, oh no, I've achieved these things. I'm not proud of myself anymore. Let me go for the next thing and let me struggle until I get this next step and then not feel grateful. No, it's let's be present. Let's be in that moment. Let's slow down. Let's be with our friends. Let's be with the babies. Let's be with all of this. And this is what we want. So we're going to take care of each of those moments in our life to make sure that we're enjoying everything that we work so hard for. So this is not a chaotic year. It's a mature momentum year. So we have momentum, but it's mature momentum. We're not just like happy pappy and we just move because there's space. We take up the space that we can take care of. That's the big thing is we have to take up space that we can actually honor and we can integrate and we can anchor that energy. If you did the shedding work, this year is going to feel very freeing if you've honored it. But if you avoided it, this year is going to feel fast and uncomfortable. It's going to feel like you're a little derailed. And I'm already feeling some energy where it feels like I'm a bit derailed because I have been honoring a lot of my relationships, other commitments outside of like my boutique. So it's like, yes, what do you want? Okay, I want the boutique, but then it's like, then I'm like, moving over here and prioritizing this and moving over here and I'm just like, had some conversations, I've prayed a lot, and now I'm like, now I know what I want. These are my game plans. This is my structure. This is my reset. This is my commitment to myself. This is my commitment to creator. So it's those are those things, but now I'm not feeling so ungrounded. But sometimes we have to have those moments of like, okay, I fucked up. I put a little too much attention into that. Okay, this week I'm asking, how do I want to show up for me?
Yeah.
And I need to be the foundation of my life. Going forward, I need to have those boundaries and I need to understand how many pockets of time am I willing to give? Because when I'm in alignment, I just want to give everything to everyone. But I have to have those structures before I'm in those situations. And I realize that about myself.